Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive, Vancouver's best auto service experience. How are you doing this morning, Bernie?
I'm doing very well.
So we're going to talk about a 2007 Monte Carlo that had an automatic transmission problem. What was going on with this Monte Carlo?
Well, first step, of course, is always for us to road test the vehicle. So the client was experiencing some shifting problems. I drove the vehicle and definitely noted there's some shifting issues. At first, it seemed to be fine, and then there's the odd, it's sort of a 3/4, third to fourth gear type shift. There was kind of a weird feel to it. And then I noticed after a while of driving, I'd stop and go to start, and it would just kind of jump out of gear and then jump back in again. And so that was clearly a pretty significant problem.
So what kind of diagnostic steps did you do to narrow down what the problem was?
Well, first thing, of course, is a road test to verify the concern, which we did. Second, plug a scan tool into the vehicle. I mean, it's an 07. There's lots of computer controls in the transmission. Plug the scan tool in, see if there's any trouble codes. That gives us an area to look, and there was actually none. And my gut feeling from driving it is, maybe there's a fluid problem. Maybe the fluid level is low. And sure enough, the next step was to check the fluid level. This vehicle has a dipstick, which surprised me because a lot of GMs of this vintage don't have dipsticks, and you can still check the level. It's just a lot more work. Put the dipstick in, pulled it out. The fluid wasn't even reading on the stick. Took 2 liters of fluid to actually get the reading close to normal. From there, road test the vehicle to see how it works, and it shifted fine, which I kind of suspected it would.
So what else did you do?
Okay, so from there, basically the next step was to we could have just let the vehicle go at that point because it was working, but the fluid was discolored, and it makes sense to look inside the pan and see if there's any damage. Also, of course, why is the fluid level low? So we looked underneath, did an inspection, and found the leak was coming from the transmission pan gasket, and that's a pretty common spot for a leak. So we pulled the transmission pan down, inspected inside. Fortunately, there was absolutely no filings, materials, particles of any sort, which is really good news for the owner of the vehicle. Yeah, so that's basically what we did from there. So
how did it work after the service?
That was awesome. So what I should add is, in addition to changing the pan gasket and filter, we also did a transmission fluid flush because the fluid was old and discolored. So yeah, it was great. Road tested the vehicle, worked absolutely fabulously, and I want to share a few photos while we're at it. So because it's interesting. So where were we here? Pictures. So here's our Monte Carlo. Vehicle, I know for quite a few years they built this car looking at the same type of design of vehicle. So it actually surprised me. It was when I got it, it was as actually new as it was. I thought these were a lot older. Anyway, so here's the transmission pan that we took out. Now, I'm going to share a couple of photos of this pan. So this is the pan, and this area here, someone has used a cork gasket and put some silicone or some right stuff gasket sealer on there. Probably nothing really wrong with it. It's not exactly the right gasket, but they tightened it way too tight. And this area here is actually the metal of the pan. They tightened it so tight that the cork is squished right out, and that was one of the causes of the leak. And now I'll share the other photo. This is the proper pan gasket it's supposed to be, and you can see it's a very elegant thin gasket. This is like sort of a metal cord gasket with molded rubber, and it's actually supposedly a reusable gasket. We normally change them, but you can take them off and reuse them. They're meant for multi-purpose use. So so again, we put the proper gasket on with the filter, and it worked fine. So I will get back to wherever I am here. Yeah.
So we don't see a lot of these Monte Carlos. How are they?
Pretty good cars. And yeah, we really don't see many of these cars. I don't think they made a lot of them, but when you open the hood, it's a typical GM vehicle of that vintage. I'm trying to think of others, but there's other Chevys, there's Pontiacs and Buicks that, if you look under the hood, they have the same, engine configuration, same transmission. Generally a pretty reliable vehicle. A few problems here and there, but overall, pretty good car.
All right, so if you're looking for service for your GM vehicle, the guys to see in Vancouver are Pawlik Automotive. You can reach them at 604-327-7112 or check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.